assistance, right? Sorry, I was delivering content. I didn't mean to ignore you.
Politics aside, crime was on the rise.
As the city of San Francisco deals with the shocking, high-profile murder of tech executive Bob Lee, a greater question emerges. Who wants to live here anymore?
Yeah, out of pocket. I knock a nigga out his socket. I don't give a fuck if he won't get out of pocket. I'm not the one to motherfucking fuck with. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Yeah, I'll pull up with the switch. I'm on Cedar Block on the TLs, nigga. What you mean?
For this combination of reasons, over half of San Francisco's recently built luxury apartment buildings and giant office buildings are completely vacant right now. They're actually for sale.
It is becoming the next Detroit almost.
General Motors, Ford and Chrysler. It was a golden era of full employment for a triumphant America.
As they grew and they became multinational companies.
Detroit lost 200,000 inhabitants between 1950 and 1960.
To where these tech industries have pulled out, just like the car industries pulled out of there, and we're starting to be left with like a shell of our great city, and now is debilitated and shut down into something that is never going to be able to get rented out again. All those tents out there, they're able-bodied individuals. They're being told that they shouldn't be working, and they can collect general assistance, and they can stay home and play on their phone, and it is ridiculous. We need to start encouraging people to get back out to the workforce. We need to start making, that like a requirement. And these individuals that are coming here from Salt Lake City, Boise, Idaho, all these other places in San Francisco are putting a strain on our services. If they're going to come here to San Francisco, you need to be working. You can't just come here and just mooch off the taxpayers. That is ridiculous. So
there's ads online for people that come from other parts of the country to come here and get shelter.
Where are you from, sir?
Money. I'm from Montana.
He's from Montana. See?
Yeah, but I didn't come here for that. I live here and I work and I got a job and I got a girlfriend and we do drugs, but we're not robbing cars or fucking sucking off the city, or shitting on the sidewalk.
So there you go. There you have it. Montana, we're taking in your drug addicts as well. All this strain is getting put on my city, and that's why I'm a San Francisco nationalist. I really want what's good for San Francisco.
You have companies that used to have 4 buildings in San Francisco that now have 1 floor, and so all the infrastructure that's been built for this high pay is now sort of collapsing. And then to say that the reason that San Francisco isn't doing well is because of poor people living on the street who use drugs. It's not real. It's a red herring. We just did a street assessment here in the Mission, and 73% of the people that we spoke to were previously employed and housed. Okay, where were they working? They're working in janitorial jobs, in those office buildings. All of those businesses have changed their modality, especially those, you talk about downtown being closed. Well, downtown used to employ hundreds and thousands of people who were working in low-level, entry-level jobs, as janitors, as, all the things that supported that business. Well, there's no one in those buildings.
Much like the gold tycoons who pillaged the West for its resources centuries ago, only to leave behind ghost towns that mark the Wild West, Big Tech has essentially used San Francisco as a playground for over 2 decades, and now has left behind an overpriced shell of a once great American metropolis. Anyways, the story of corporate greed is typically left out of the San Francisco conversation.
All you seem to hear about on TV is that San Francisco is an apocalyptic third world wasteland.
Brazen crime taking a huge toll on America's most progressive city.
Full of fentanyl, petty crime, graffiti, and so forth.
People are being shot, stabbed, beaten, brutalized, and they fornicate, and they defecate, and they do everything.
Is this true, or is this cap? Let's go find out.
So my name is Tracy McCrae. I'm currently the president of San Francisco Police Officers Association. I've been a cop, it's going to be almost 34 years.
Is crime on the rise here?
certain types of crime are on the rise. So robberies, right? They are up about 12 to 15%. I mean, you don't walk around with your cell phone out because it's finna get snatched. So Prop 47 lowered the threshold for certain crimes like petty theft, right?
Prop 47, it reduces certain drug and theft crimes from felony charges to misdemeanors.
Before, if you stole anything over $400, that would be a felony charge with Prop 47. So now you can steal up to $949.99 and you just get a ticket if you're caught. It's a citation, so it's akin to you running a stop sign, I pull you over and I give you a traffic citation. And you're either one of two people, you're like, oh shit, I got a ticket, or you're like, I don't give a shit. Back in November of, what was that, 2022, people just ransacked into the Louis Vuitton and just made off. That made national news.
Stunning video. This is going viral in San Francisco. Brazen thieves emptied out the Louis Vuitton store in Union Square.
So not a good look for the city, because we would love for people to come here and visit and spend their money, because tourism has always been our bread and butter.
Welcome to the most beautiful city in the world. San Francisco, I want to Frisco. San Francisco, here I go.
But unfortunately, this past week, they hit Burberry, they hit Fendi, they hit Gucci.
Lieutenant McRae was making one thing clear. There was a massive organized retail boosting squad that was currently active in the immediate vicinity of Union Square. So I walked around Union Square and tried to find someone who might know something. Within 15 minutes, I identified the culprits. The Finesse Mall Gang, a graffiti and shoplifting crew known for spray painting public buses and stealing shit from Union Square.
Anybody can go to the store, grab some shit, and run out. It's my technique. It's how you do it. There's a lot going on though. You got the drug sales. You got motherfuckers getting shot, car burglaries. You know, you name it. That's what's going on. That's how we get it, man. That's all we know. Getting it out the mud, getting out these dirty streets. Tenderloin, but we all locked in over here, man. We got a face car valid all through these trenches.
How'd that make you feel?
Man, I'm ready to do it again.
Y'all can cover the face on this one, right? Yeah.
Okay,
sick. Is that a good, like, adrenaline booster?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. My heart pumps.
Hey, look, let's go over here with it.
You got the cops right there, you feel me?
Hi, Channel 5.
Hi, Channel 5. How do you guys make your money and support yourself out here?
Hey, look, before all these niggas was doing this run out the store shit, we was walking out the store. We was having them say, y'all have a good day. Finesse them all, that's what it is, man. It's FBA shit, man.
If you were to guess, how much merchandise do you think you've been able to boost numerically in the past couple years?
Oh, God, everything, bro.
Probably like a 100 ball, maybe a little more than a 100 ball. You know what I'm saying? A little more than a 100 ball. 100,000. Yeah, 100,000.
Hey, look, there's not a shop in Union Square that we haven't hit for at least 10 bands. All the designer stores, Montclair, Louis, Gucci, Sunglasses Hut. We was smacking them, bro.
I used to go to the Apple store and take the motherfucking display phones, bro. It's called Gorilla Boosting, bro. Go in there and come out, bro. Bare face and everything. No, man. You feel me? I'm in there, I'm getting out, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, honestly, I done splashed during the daytime, you feel me? I ain't even gonna cap. I done splashed over there on Lombard. Tourists over here talking about, oh my God, if y'all don't knock it off, you know what I'm saying? This is regular out here. Can you tell me a crazy boosting story?
Crazy boost. Oh my God.
What's time, bro?
Which time? Shit. From Twin Peaks. And there's somebody parked up on the side trying to, you know what I'm saying, take some pictures and shit like that. Well, we end up splashing they shit.
Stay in. Get down. Call Ashley. Stay down.
The next day, motherfuckers on the news.
Team of gunmen rob a film crew in front of terrified witnesses.
And see, one of the robbery suspects pistol whips one of the victims. Tripod legs are hanging outside of the rear passenger window, and as they drive away.
You feel me? But can't speak too much on that, because, you know what I'm saying?
Tell them the Gucci story.
Okay, so one time we went to the Gucci store, RIP my nigga Fury, man. FBA, man. We went to get
Fury, man.
The search continues this morning for the gunman who robbed another high-end designer store in San Francisco's Union Square.
So I stole two $2,000 purses. He stole a tracksuit, alarms and everything. My nigga Fury stole a couple things too. And he got alarms all through the Gucci tracksuit walking in. Bro. And we're just, everywhere we walked, in the store beeping. The motherfuckers knew we was up to no good. By the time they come up, like, sir, you need any help? Nah, I just need help to show me where the exit's at now. I'm about done here. And we walked out with like $10,000, $15,000 worth of shit, bro.
Are you guys worried about consequences, like from the police out here? What? San Francisco doesn't believe in crime. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DA though. Oh, shout out London Breed too. Shut up, Lenny, breathe.
Once the arrests are made, we are hopeful that our DA will prosecute.
I did time in San Francisco, but never like stayed more than like a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying?
We've been doing consequences since juvenile hall. Graduated to prison. Still out here, same shit, same environment.
I think they don't give a fuck.
Do you think that's changing the way that like businesses decide to move their shit here?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why they're all closing down on market.
Since the start of the year, the city has seen the exit of more than a dozen national retailers from the downtown area.
Yeah. Do you guys feel bad about that? Or?
Absolutely not. Welcome to the Bay. Straight up. Welcome to the Bay, bro.
Welcome to the city.
And I hope when you executives come over here to finalize the paperwork to sign to close the store, you should get splashed, my nigga. Welcome to the Bay Area, bro. It's just what we do. We do it all. Splash shit, line up, stage game. We do all that, bro. Trap.
Dip City.
Everything, bro. Out the bitch. You name it, we doing it.
Off the bitch.
Working with our Hondos. You know, this baby Honduras right here, man. I mean,
shocking discovery in California's drug trade. Hundreds of San Francisco's dealers are coming to our state from just one place, the small town of Syria Valley. It's in the middle of Honduras. You can see in these pictures that many homes in the Syria Valley are built with images of familiar Bay Area icons.
I work at La Cocina up the street. It's about 30, 40 Hondos out in front of that motherfucker every day, selling dope.
Hey, what the fuck? What you want, bruh? Don't be recording all of that up in my face, bruh. Get that shit up on, bro. I don't fuck around like that, bruh.
The Hondos are Hondurans and they're posted on every block. Police roll right past. They don't get out. They don't roll their window down. They don't say shit. They just look at them, keep going.
What's going on with the Honduran gangs here?
As far as I know it, you get a lot of like young people that are trying to cross into the country, and so they get sponsored. You get a lot of Mexican cartels that are offering basically protection to these young people, and then once you're here, you're working for them.
This is a very important part of the story. I had a chance to speak with a couple Hondos, but I did so off camera. Putting them on camera could put them and their families at serious risk. Here's how it works, and here's why they're in San Francisco. Let's start with the history of fentanyl. Fentanyl is produced by China, or in China, depending on how you look at it. They sell most of their product legally to American pharmaceutical companies, like Johnson & Johnson, who owns the patent to fentanyl patches, fentanyl candy, and fentanyl liquid IV drip.
Fentanyl is used in operating rooms and to control pain after surgery.
Much like Nike, Apple, and other American corporations looking to save money by outsourcing production to countries with lax labor regulations, American pharmaceutical companies literally procured trillion-dollar contracts with Chinese medicine manufacturers to produce cheap generics of many of our favorite drugs today. Percocet.
All Percocet.
Xanax. Promethazine and codeine, aka Dirty Sprite. And last but not least, the man of the hour, fentanyl. There's not really any music about fentanyl, yet.
Fentanyl is going to bind to your opioid receptors in your central nervous system.
Well, at some point, these Chinese manufacturers realized there was more eager clients besides Johnson & Johnson. And the coolest thing about these new clients, they don't even need you to actually make the fentanyl. All they need is the analog precursors, sodium borohydrin and chloride. They bake it down, bag it up, and smuggle it into the U.S. And these companies were the Sinaloa cartel and the Jalisco New Generation cartel, $2 billion Mexican drug empires competing for control of smuggling routes into the United States. And so it began.
Drug overdoses are killing more Americans now than at any time in history.
100,000 people died.
At 22 years old, Sawyer Post made a mistake. He tried Percocet, a prescription painkiller.
The Percocet itself was laced with fentanyl. Unfortunately, my son.
Carissa says she believes this was Trinity's first time trying drugs.
9-year-old died from a fentanyl overdose.
Every day, 200 Americans die from a fentanyl overdose. Since 2018, which is around when these American-funded Chinese manufacturers began working with the cartels in Mexico, that number is now over 260,000 people. In San Francisco, about 2 people die from an overdose every day. Here is some incredibly sad footage of a husband handing over his wife's body to the San Francisco medical examiners.
I can't take it anymore. You didn't even know me, did you? No.
Now, what you have to understand is that from a distribution standpoint, the current fentanyl crisis is much different than America's last significant drug crisis, which was the crack cocaine epidemic in the 1980s. Back then, cartels and possibly the CIA sold directly to American gangs to distribute in places like Los Angeles, Miami, and New York City. However, over time, the cartels realized that it was much more profitable to import their own dealers into the United States from impoverished third world nations. This is what's going on with the Hondurans. The cartel scouts in the slums of Central America and finds working age males in poverty. They promise them free, safe passage up north into the United States. Now, we at Channel 5 may or may not have recently gone to Latin America to follow in the footsteps of one of these Honduran migrants. But I will tell you this, shortly after being smuggled across the US border, many of these Hondurans are driven straight to San Francisco, given a package of fentanyl, given a street corner, and told they must sell it to pay off their coyotes. Anyways, more from the FEA gang.
Just got a real quick tag right here.
You guys going to the dance show? Have fun. I will.
As I stood on Market Street with FEA, a group of middle schoolers from Oakland approached us with backpacks full of candy for sale.
You take cash here, little brother? Yeah, for sure. I'm watching you want some candy?
At first, I wasn't sure what was going on, but my new friend broke it down.
Yeah, so behind us right here, man, you know what I'm saying? We got these kids. I say about 12 to 15, 16. You heard one of them, we say from Oakland, so they pop on board, come out here. This is money zone. Like I said, I ain't from out here either. Everybody comes out here from other cities. Rarely will you find someone from the city that's actually out here hustling. Basically what they did, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna speak too deep on it, but come here with some backpacks, go to a store, fill it up with candy, walk down Market, and the tourists, 9 times out of 10, they gonna buy it. They think, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, look at these kids. They got the little hustle going on here. We respect it. They could be out here stripping shit, this and that, so we're gonna support it. You know what I'm saying? Little do they know, but then, you know, you graduate. Now you figure out about dipping. Now you figure out about house licks. Now you figure about playing with guns. Now you start, you know what I'm saying? You expand your horizon. You feel me? Bro, it ends up how me and my nigga Trey's ended up, bro. You start going to juvenile hall, and then you go to county jail, and then you go to prison. But he's supporting the young niggas, because we used to do some shit like that too.
The escalation of crime is pretty interesting.
Oh, it is. You know, they start looking up to the wrong kind of things too. Like they look up to my nigga right here, you feel me? Babe outfit, you know, off-white belts, Jordans. That's the ultimate goal is I want to be out here saucy. You know what I'm saying? There's no talking to the young generation either. They don't want to hear it because I didn't want to hear it.
Is it possible to like stop people from going down this road?
Not really, because if you want it, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
I was the same way. You know, I was going to juvenile hall, motherfuckers was trying to preach this and preach that, and
what you gonna do when you're making no money and you're dropping out of high school? Got a baby on the way with a lady. She don't understand you a little crazy. You can't even stop. You're stealing from your parents and running from the cops. Yeah, let me keep it real. Take a moment, look back. Every kid's got a dream that it wasn't be a drug addict. If you want to be high, be a hope dealer.
I don't want to hear none of it. You feel me? I don't want to hear what you guys change your life and this and that and what it leads to. Like, I ain't tripping, bro.
What are your aspirations for your life beyond this?
Me? Shit, I'm trying to get it together now, man. I've spent way too many years fucking up, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting close to 30 now, bro, and it's just trying to get into a union or something like that. That's the plan right now, bro, you know what I'm saying? And I'm in the process of that, bro, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of behind the scenes with this shit, you feel me? This is just...
Damn, you guys bought hella candy. What the fuck? You see how much candy they got?
It's not even about the candy, man. It's just the support.
You know what I mean? You gotta support.
Shit, I'm about to head back to San but my niggas gonna be out here. Pleasure meeting you, bro.
My new friends from FEA said they had to go back to San but I wanted to keep checking out the streets of the Tenderloin. So they linked me up with their friend named Antoine, who was a couple blocks away.
Hey, what's up, my loved one? I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I done seen everything in San Francisco. The only thing I ain't never seen, a bitch that I need, and a turtle with speed, nigga. On everything I love, nigga. Bippin' shit is going bananas, nigga. Look, when I say bananas, bananas, nigga. On everything, nigga. I swear to God, I quit my. We ain't gonna get into all that, but just know, if your cousin show up into your house at 3 in the morning with a duffel bag and he happy, he did his thug thizzle that evening. You feel me? And it's a little petty crime, a little slap on the wrist. You feel me? I'm talking about you go sit up in county about 3-4 days, depending on what kind of prize you got. They go let you right about that motherfucker. Motherfucker get right back up in that motherfucker. Petty crime. Sparky's on the leash, top, and pull that motherfucker right back. Spark plugs and break.
It's like E40.
On my mama.
So can you tell us where we're at and what's going on?
You found the ring. Thank you, adventurer.
tourist Ace Market. You can find everything down here on Ace Market.
Forever in my memory.
Oh, that was good. Got most of a level. 23 almost.
Hygiene bottles to fentanyl to bikes to wheelchairs. If you want a wheelchair, you come down here and get a wheelchair. So if you want some apple juice or canned goods, you can get it for the low. You ain't gotta go to Food Code Safeway. Come right here.
Jacob Shibashevsky, who owns Fermentation Lab on Market Street, says crime in the mid-market area has worsened post-pandemic.
I wish there was more that could be done.
No, it's cool with me because I've been in San Francisco all my life. But for people that just moving out here, it's really hurting them because they're not used to this. So it's like the people that's gentrifying and coming into our neighborhood in these new tech company buildings and stuff are the ones that's complaining. If you don't like it, go back home. I'm okay with that. I'm tired of San Francisco being packed. Go ahead, close this motherfucker down. Let us get back to who we was before. People that's been here, we okay with this. This has been going on before our time. This has been going on for years and decades. It's just visible now because they don't have nowhere to put them. If you
Yeah, remember they depicted this in Chinatown. They depicted it in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I mean, San Francisco has always been a wild buck town like that. Always needed detectives. Always had murder beefs and all that shit. That is not a normal city.
look at documentaries from 1980s in San Francisco, they've been doing this. This been going on
since the 50s. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say we cool with it, but we understand it. We see how it goes.
Yeah, they got a problem and they've been doing it.
You think he's here for the
That's how I feel about Denver. They've had a problem for 60 years and they've been doing it. One of the problems I had in the meth scene in Denver is like I knew a lot of old people who used to do a lot of meth. They've been at it 30, 40 years. Some of them never even had a single charge. Like functionally addicted for 30 years, 40 years. Not even a charge, some of them. I shit you not. They're just functional drug addicts. You know, they work all their lives. And I mean, it sucks, but that's like what they do for a hobby. I mean, it's going to happen. You need to accept it.
Grateful Dead show, or you think he's a homeless guy? You here for the Grateful Dead show, or you living on the streets?
All gas, no break.
Yeah.
Both. No, just kidding.
I think at this point, it's important to note that this entire documentary was pretty much filmed in a 6-block radius that composes one particular neighborhood in the city. This neighborhood is called the Tenderloin. Since the 1890s, it's been nicknamed the Tenderloin because it was suggested that police who patrolled the area receive additional hazard pay bonuses, also supplement their income with bribes from local brothels, gambling halls, speakeasies, and so forth, and ultimately receive such a good payout they could afford tenderloin steaks for dinner every night. The point I'm making is that for over 100 years, cops in Frisco have turned a blind eye to crime in the Tenderloin. Much like the downtown east side in Vancouver, BC, Canada, or the Kensington area of North Philadelphia, they consider it to be a containment policy. If they allow certain open-air drug markets to occur in a specific contained zone, then crime is unlikely to occur in more affluent nearby neighborhoods. The same is true in San Francisco. Just a stone's throw away from the Tenderloin are very affluent neighborhoods like Nob Hill, Pacific Heights, and North Beach. These neighborhoods have a high police presence and low crime rates.
Anyways, that's a story for another day. I wanted to check out some of the open-air drug markets that were allegedly in the Tenderloin.
Antoine agreed to show me the biggest one, but he was a bit nervous about filming.
So what is this block up here that we're about to walk to?
This the block. This the block. If you you gonna see, but that's the block. You feel me? But it's just a popular block where things happen. Things happen. For downtown, you know, like we finna go check in with them. You know, I'm gonna let y'all know what's going on. I passed through, but I don't know enough, you know, to be right here. But I'm gonna let them go. You feel me? And do how they do when they do it.
So what's this block called again?
The Woo Block. WOO Block. I'm not from here. I don't hang out down here, but I know about it because I'm a San Franciscan. And just know, this block get a little crazy at times depending on what's going on. You feel me? It's a go-to block, one-stop shop. If you want to get something, they gonna have something. Everything. That's why I said I'm gonna let the Hawk Twins let you know.
What's going on, y'all, man? Y'all made it to the city, man. Where it's pretty at, huh? We on the Woo Block, man. We is trapping over here, man. Selling weed, slapping booties, and making movies, man. I can never switch. I can never snitch. I can never fuck with niggas acting like a bitch. I can never fold, could never be a hoe. I ain't never been a trick. I forever get shit. I mean, it's a bunch of shit going on, but this ain't nothing new. You know, everything that's going on right now been going on. It's just more so like they making it easier for motherfuckers. You know, they giving out needles, they giving out shit. You know, like.
It's part of San Francisco's public health strategy called harm reduction, taking steps to reduce the negative consequences of using drugs.
This is a lot of it.
What is it used for?
This is used so they can put their fentanyl on here, and then they burn it and they smoke it through a straw.
Shit, they just passed the law. They don't take you to jail for stealing no more. You get cited or released. They damn near making it easy. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why everyone off dope comes to the city. It's easy to be on dope. The police don't give a fuck. Cause they ain't gonna take no dope fiend to jail because they ain't gonna make no money off of it. They'd rather take me and Tyler to jail because they know we gonna bail out. They gonna make some money off of us.
Yeah, I'm a done daughter. Think I let it smell of that gunpowder. Pass the whole little bro so he can get some funds out of it.
Yeah, they don't take crackheads to jail because it's no money in it. They don't have no money that I can pay no fines. My son go to school right here. I take my son to school and he looking at the niggas, the dude smoking dope right here. You know what I mean? So if you live here, it is kind of a problem because your kids are raised up watching people smoking dope on the side of the street, and that ain't cool. It is not good, you know. So I feel like they should give them a certain area where they can smoke dope at. It's a disease, motherfucker. If they stop doing heroin, they will die. So it's more so like, instead of killing them, we're gonna give them some clean needles, or they gonna catch AIDS, you know, and be out here, you know.
Instead of right here, they just drove past 4-5 deep. They should be up there, but they down here.
The police, they rather pull up on me talking about we the real twins. It was some twin police. They pulled up on us like, you the real twins.
Take y'all real twin ass up the street and go do some work.
Channel 5 News.
Real twin. Taking real twin. Oh no. Okay, now we're gonna go back, see something new. Come on, give me something new. Oh, come on. Here, Wavy Web Surf. New Wavy Web Surf, sure.
It's generally a hostile environment, but on extremely rare circumstances, we've seen folks online set aside their differences to save people's lives. Yes, over the years, there have been cases of lost hikers, injured travelers, and missing persons miraculously rescued thanks to the collaboration of random internet users. Others have had life-threatening medical conditions diagnosed off photos uploaded to the web, which resulted in these sick people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know what that was.
Life-saving medical care. Today we'll be looking at several.
I'm good on my side.
Cases involving internet users saving people's lives. This story involving internet users saving someone's life is one of the more heart-wrenching in today's video. It's a story involving a 10-year-old girl issuing a desperate plea to Facebook, hoping that her friend...
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's good. Or bad, depending on how you look at it. It's bad for you. It's good for me. I'm sorry.
...could potentially save her father's life. On the evening of June 10th of 2014, the United States National Weather Service was monitoring a large and potentially dangerous band of thunderstorms that had been moving through the state of Kentucky. As the storms approached the border of West Virginia, they would become increasingly more violent, unleashing torrents of rain, lightning strikes, hail, and wind gusts upwards of 40 miles an hour. Near midnight, the squall line would descend upon the small West Virginian town of Henlawson, located in Logan County. And it would be here that this storm would claim some of its first victims.
Gregory Vance of Peck's Mill, along with two family friends, were sitting on the front porch of Vance's home observing the storm's approach. Likely expecting nothing more than some subdued rain showers, Vance and company were caught off guard after some strong winds started buffeting the property. Powerful lightning soon followed, and amidst the chaos, a large tree near his home would become destabilized. And moments later, this massive tree came crashing down, falling directly on the man's porch, crushing both him and his guests underneath its immense weight. It would be at this moment that Gregory Vance's 10-year-old daughter, Brianna Vance, would emerge from the home and witness the horrific
Directly to the north of Astronar are the Thistlefur Furbo.
And while he
My
was still
scouts
alive,
report
the
that
man
their
appeared
numbers have
seriously
grown greatly
injured and
over the
couldn't
past
free
few
himself from
months.
the immense
If
weight of
they
the
grow
fallen
too great, they may find the courage to attack Astronar directly. Kill as many of their kind as you can, but bring me their chieftain's skull as proof that their efforts have been stifled for now. I shall remain here in Astronar and await word from you. Elune be with you.
Okay, I'm going to stop in 1 hour.
An object, and neither could any of the other victims. Panicked, the girl would initially go inside and attempt to dial 911 to get help for her father, but due to the storm's impact, landlines and cell service in the local area was down. With the life of her father on the line, the quick-thinking girl decided to check and see if her home's Wi-Fi was still accessible. And miraculously, the internet connection had somehow survived the storm. In a desperate plea for help, Brianna logs into Facebook and creates an urgent video message to alert her local community of the perilous circumstances at the Vance family home.
The lightning crashed and hit a tree, our porch, and my dad was dead. We need the ambulance, please. Please call 142 at signal. Please, we need the ambulance. Please save my dad. Please.
Brianna would publish this tearful plea to Facebook. It was her only hope that her father would survive. But as some time passed and no help was arriving, things really started to look grim. The impact of the felled tree had wreaked havoc on Mr. Vance's body. The weight of the object had shattered 5 of his ribs and broken his collarbone. He was pinned down by the chest, and his ability to breathe was severely limited. If help didn't arrive soon, the man would surely die. With precious minutes passing and no emergency crews arriving, Brianna began to get more desperate, issuing further cries to Facebook for help. At this moment, Brianna likely felt that her dad wasn't going to make it. But during the recording of one of these final Facebook pleas, something that can only be described as a miracle takes place. To the surprise of Brianna, firemen and rescuers from the Logan County Fire Department seemingly appear out of nowhere. With chainsaws equipped, the rescue crew rushed to the site of the fallen tree and began sawing away its segments that had trapped Mr. Vance and his friends. And after some time, they were able to free the man and load him into an ambulance. Still suffering from serious injuries, his fate remained uncertain. But at least now he was getting medical help. Help that he wouldn't have gotten without the ceaseless life-saving efforts of his daughter. It turns out that Brianna's Facebook plea was noted by several members of the local community familiar with the Vance family. And following the instruction given in her tearful videos, these individuals managed to report the incident to local authorities. And that's how they found out about Mr. Vance's injury. All 3 individuals hit by the fallen tree were hospitalized. Mr. Vance's friends were released in short time, not suffering life-threatening injuries. However, Gregory Vance's medical situation was somewhat more complicated and required him to spend several days in the hospital.
I hope you get well soon because you're the best dad I can ask for.
But thankfully, the man managed to make a full recovery and was able to return home from the hospital in time to be celebrated by his family on Father's Day, which was on June 16th. However, considering the life-saving actions taken by his daughter, the holiday would mostly be spent celebrating Brianna and him expressing thanks for her quick thinking and courageous decision-making. This is a remarkable story showcasing the bravery of a child, the kindness of digital bystanders, and the effectiveness of a dedicated rescue crew.
Indeed.
That was the story of the West Virginian Facebook rescue. Before we get into our next story, hi, welcome to the Wavy Web Surf bedroom. Look, if you're anything like me, sometimes you have a hard time getting a good night's rest. Well, I'm here to introduce you to the potential solution. Today's sponsor, Beam. Beam sleep powder is mixed with water or milk to make a one-of-a-kind beverage perfect for winding down. Beam sleep powder is packed with ingredients clinically proven to help with sleep, such as melatonin, magnesium to help relax your muscles, and L-theanine, which helps calm you down and reduce anxiety before bed. And for me personally, there's something about having a warm beverage before bed that just makes me feel cozy and calm and ready to nod off. I mean, I gotta be honest with you, I don't even know if we're gonna be able to finish the video here. Beam sleep powder has no added sugars and only 15 calories per serving. Look, every time I end my day with some Beam, I find that I go to sleep a lot faster, and the next day, I'm feeling better than ever. So, big shout out to Beam. It's the holiday season, and Beam has a special offer. You can get 50% off any Beam product when you subscribe and save with my link in the description box. You can pause, skip, or cancel your Beam subscription at any time. Click that link in the description, and big shout out to Beam for sponsoring. This story begins back in 2014 on the Greek island of Crete. Renowned for its pristine beaches, beautiful coastal towns, and ancient ruins, Crete draws in millions of tourists to its shores from around the world every year. And thanks to the island's natural beauty and elevated cliff sides, it is a popular spot for hikers. Crete's elevated rocky cliffs make for great vantage points for sightseers, though such recreation doesn't come without peril, as you viewers will soon find. In June of 2014, an English vacationer by the name of Sandy Alcock was exploring a trail system that overlooked a particularly scenic portion of Crete's beaches. The area that she was traversing was said to have been quite the vantage point and was about 1,300 feet above sea level, so a great view of the ocean here. The view was said to have been awe-inspiring, and the woman moved closer to the cliff's edge for an even better perspective. However, while she was navigating her way closer to the cliff's edge, the rocky foundation beneath her started to give way and become unstable. And moments later, this loose ground gave way, resulting in the woman tumbling nearly 350 feet down the coastal cliffside. Her descent only being stopped after she got caught up in a thicket of olive trees that were jetting out from the steep slope side. These olive trees had momentarily stopped her fall, but needless to say, Sandy was now in a life or death situation. The woman was about 1,000 feet from the bottom of the cliff, with nothing holding her up but a small tree. Compounding her problems at this time was the fact that the fall had broken several of her bones, and the woman could barely move. With her whole body now in excruciating pain, Sandy's first instinct is to try to pull out her phone and call for help. Using one hand and an agonizing effort, she managed to pull out her phone and dial a local hotel. And this call would lead her being connected with emergency responders. However, due to the sort of nondescript nature of the land around her, most of the coastline looking the same, and Sandy's just general unfamiliarity with this area, she wasn't able to give responders enough information to triangulate her location. While rescuers would certainly be dispatched, with no landmarks to go off of, Sandy's likelihood of being found was slim to none at this point. To make matters worse, her phone was on its last few percentage points of battery, meaning that she wouldn't be able to remain on the phone with rescue for long. With the clock ticking in regard to her ability to communicate with the outside world, Sandy had to make a move and make it fast. And when this feeling of urgency hit her, that's when she comes up with an idea. Using her cell phone, Sandy would take this photo, which showcased the area in which she had fallen. She then posted the image to social media in the hopes that rescuers would be able to see it and recognize the site. However, even with this photo, emergency services had difficulty determining the exact location. The problem is the shorelines of Crete kind of just look like this all around the island. And with a limited ability to take additional photos, it was beginning to look like finding Sandy was turning into a needle in a haystack situation. That was until what can only be described as a a digital miracle takes place. As Sandy's Facebook post was being shared around, the image made it to the computer screen of a local Cretan who worked as a scuba instructor.
Yeah!
As a scuba instructor, this man was familiar with the shores of Crete.
Yeah!
Very few were. And this individual
dude!
recognized the area in Sandy's image as a beach where he had previously taught scuba lessons. The scuba instructor would then make a call
Knowledge
to the
is
local
power.
rescue unit and describe to them the exact location of her whereabouts. And lo and behold, after the rescuers went to this specified location, they looked down the cliff and found Sandy, seeing her bright blue clothing and her tangled up in an olive tree thicket, dangling off the side of this cliff. It would take a total of 2 hours from the time of Sandy's fall for her to be located, thanks to the scuba instructor. And it took another 8 hours for her to be successfully extracted from the cliffside ledge. After being pulled off this ledge, the badly injured woman would be taken to the hospital for an evaluation. And it would be here that the true extent of the woman's injuries would become apparent. The impact of Sandy's fall had broken a total of 20 bones in her body, including 8 ribs, both shoulders, her pelvis, and others. And this was in addition to several other painful injuries that she suffered, such as 7 spinal fractures, torn tendons, and a dislocated collarbone. While the woman was battered, bruised, and in immense pain, she was alive. And it was all thanks to the scuba instructor on Facebook. Due to the extent of her injuries, Sandy was in
Go
hospital
Scuba
for
Steve!
nearly 4 months until she was finally healthy enough to board a plane and return home to England. Needless to say, the woman has stated on many occasions that it was thanks to this scuba instructor, whose name is not publicly known, that she survived. This is just one of those really fortunate cases where somebody that was an expert on local topography just so happened to stumble upon a Facebook post of someone asking for help, and it led to their rescue. Extremely lucky break for Sandy here. Over the years, many of you have likely heard stories of elderly individuals with dementia getting lost or meandering away from their residences and getting killed in the process due to unfortunate accidents. One such case may have been the outcome in this next story if it wasn't for some kind Redditors helping a man find his mother. On April 21st of 2014, a woman by the name of May Goldberg would wander off from her apartment in Manhattan, New York without her family's knowledge. May was 59 years old and said to have been afflicted with severe dementia. Existing in a near constant state of confusion, this is pretty dangerous considering a city like New York. May Goldberg's son, Josh, would be the first to discover that she had wandered away from the apartment. After this discovery, the man would make a call to local police and inform them of her disappearance, but didn't yield any initial results in their search. Desperate to find his mother, Josh would put up a Reddit post asking the Reddit community for help in his endeavor. Josh Goldberg, 89, posted, "My mom with Alzheimer's is missing in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. The post flare is tagged with missing person. Hello all, my mother went missing yesterday after wandering out of my parents' apartment on West 69th Street between Central Park and West Columbus. She was alone in the apartment at the time and we believe she left in the early afternoon. Her name is May Goldberg. She is 59 years old, Chinese, 5'6" and 115 pounds. She has shoulder-length black hair and we believe she might be wearing a white long-sleeve zip-up fleece. She speaks both Mandarin Chinese and English. She walks with a slight limp due to hip replacement surgery she had several years ago. She has severe dementia. We have contacted the New York Police Department as well as several missing persons Alzheimer's associations to assist us with the search. We are currently putting up flyers in the surrounding areas and her information should be broadcast on several local news outlets soon. If anyone has any information that could help us find her, please private message me or contact the New York Police Department directly. I have attached a link to the New York Police Department's tweet about her case. If there is any relevant information that I have left out of this post, please let me know. Thanks." Josh would go on to attach several images of his mother that could be used to possibly find her. This post soliciting the help of the r/New York City subreddit started to go viral across the entire website, with hundreds of users flooding the comments section, offering words of support and saying that they were going out and attempting to find her. The massive amount of interest that this thread received caused it to go viral in other areas of the internet, and police began to take the missing persons report more seriously, even tweeting out to the public from official accounts, urging the public to report the woman if they had seen her. But going viral online only helped so much. People had to actually find May. Keep in mind that Josh's post was published at 4:25 p.m., and it would be getting dark soon. This darkness only making the situation more dangerous. And that's when a breakthrough is made. Sometime later, Josh would update his thread claiming that he had received a tip. Quote, I just received a tip that my mother might have been spotted on West 71st Street and West End Avenue. It was reported that she was headed west on 71st towards the water side. Please be on the lookout if you were in the area, including Riverside Park and the piers. The tip is actually, in a way, a bit disturbing too, though, because with the anonymous tipper saying that, hey, she's headed towards the water side, people in the thread started to freak out and suspect that maybe she was going to drown on accident by falling into the river. This tip was later revealed to be submitted by a Reddit user named Jerry-O-Rama. Jerry-O-Rama had been following Josh's thread and got in contact with him, claiming that he had eyes on the woman that he was looking for. A quote from Jerry-O-Rama says, I quickly pulled out my phone and visited this page to ensure it's indeed her. I approached her, asked for her name, told her that her family is looking for her, and took her to the Hyatt hotel lobby to contact police. The gentleman and lady at the Hyatt front desk were extremely helpful and they contacted the police. 2 police officers arrived within 3 minutes. They identified May and I believe they called for an ambulance. Jerry-O-Rama has successfully identified May and with the help of police managed to find and get the woman to safety. She was taken to a hospital as a precaution but was determined to be unharmed. Josh was made aware of this development and was reunited with his once lost mother, thanks to user Jerry-O-Rama for finding her on the street and alerting the authorities. The outpouring of support has been completely overwhelming. My family and I send a huge thank you to the entire Reddit community. You are amazing. Thank you. Tens of thousands of individuals suffering from dementia go missing each year. Many of them never returning home, or they become injured or killed while they're gone. Thankfully, this wasn't the case in the disappearance of May Goldberg. Thanks to Reddit, she was found and made safe again. This next story involves an internet user who stumbled upon an Instagram photo. This discovery leading to someone's cancer diagnosis. On Thanksgiving Day of 2017, a woman by the name of Sarah Frey was having a family gathering, celebrating the holiday like millions of other Americans around the country. During this gathering, many family photos were taken. One of these images not only captured a family moment, but captured the intrigue of the entire internet. It was this photo of the woman's 91-year-old grandfather, John Rizzepa, the man holding 2 of his great-grandkids. A seemingly innocuous and normal photo, Sarah would take this image and upload it to Instagram not long after. However, upon posting this image, instead of being met with sweet messages and comments, she was met with a wall of concern. And it was all because of this discoloration on Mr. Rizzepa's head. The first Instagram user to draw attention to this blemish was a woman named Jennifer Mancuso.
Yeah, how'd you get
a
that?
high school friend of Sarah and an experienced dermatologist. Mancuso would go on to inform Jennifer in the replies of the Instagram thread that this reddish patch on John's head was a serious health concern and could potentially be cancerous. The dermatologist cited older photos of Mr. Rizzepa on Sarah's Instagram page, comparing recent and old photos and noting that the patch on his forehead had been growing larger over time. This dermatologist would message Sarah, urging her to get John to the doctor and get the spot investigated. The family had obviously been aware of the blemish on John's head, but brushed it off as nothing more than a harmless sunspot. But with Jennifer and others chiming in, they decided it would be for the best if they took John to the doctor and got it looked at. And well, after doctors took a look at this spot, it wasn't long before the man was diagnosed with melanoma, a dangerous
Yeah, she
skin
caught a
cancer that, if not
melanoma.
treated soon, could spread to his organs and become deadly. Further testing would confirm that the cancerous spot had not yet metastasized and it was indeed isolated to that spot on his forehead, so they did some surgery and got it removed. Thanks to Jennifer's intervention, this man was now cancer-free and for the time would be living a healthy life. While John has since passed away since the circumstances surrounding this story, it's likely that Jennifer's concern led to the man getting a few extra years with his family. Twitter is known by many as one of the biggest shitholes on the internet. Every now and then, people set aside their differences and come together.
Okay, so I've never been to Twitter, and I've never had the inclination to go, and I've never voluntarily gone to Reddit. I have, but like only for video game information and stuff. And these are the glowing recommendations that I always hear about these websites, and I'm like, why would I ever bother?
And really accomplish some great feats. This is the story of the time Twitter users helped rescue a woman who had crashed her bike in the middle of the wilderness. This story begins in the summer of 2010 at the Winding Trails Resort. The Winding Trails Resort is a 380-acre resort and nature preserve located in Farmington, Connecticut. This sprawling recreation area features a labyrinth of hiking trails, several small lakes, and even skiing slopes. Aside from its breathtaking natural amenities, Winding Trails is also known for its annual triathlon. The Winding Trails Triathlon Series runs during the summer months and attracts athletes from around the country. Their flagship challenge series involves participants overcoming a 400-yard swim section, a 5-mile mountain biking section, and a 3.1-mile on-foot run to the finish line. In 2010, one such intrepid challenger that would come to Winding Trails was 36-year-old Lee Fazina. At the time, Lee was a renowned public relations consultant and fitness enthusiast who was no stranger to triathlons, the woman completing several of them before even attempting Winding Trails. A seasoned competitor, the woman entered the race likely thinking Winding Trails was going to be a breeze. However, let's just say that it proved to be a little bit more difficult than she initially thought. On the day of the triathlon, during the mountain biking portion of the race, an exhausted Lee somehow got separated from the other athletes. Quickly finding herself disoriented, Lee mistakenly took a wrong turn and began riding off the trails managed by the resort, and soon she was in unoccupied and unserviced areas of the forest. Trails that were part of the triathlon were cleared prior to the race as to prevent debris from causing bikers to get in accidents. But this untraveled route that Lee had found herself on featured no such clearance. And eventually tragedy would strike when her bike wheel got caught up on some roots that were jetting out from the forest floor. This entanglement would put the bike wheel into a snarl.
Terrible
and
what the
sudden
venture
stop
company has
resulted in
done
Lee
here,
being
eh?
flung off of
What
her
were they
seat
thinking?
over the
Goblin
handlebars of her
company
bike
hiring a
and
gnome.
landing face down
Lucky
on the
for
ground
me,
in front of her.
Sputter Valve knows a genius when he sees one. Hired me just after I'd been kicked out. Tells me they built some enormous wood-cutting machine. And Sput wants me to steal the plans for him. Unfortunately, Garenzo, bloody gnome, wants me dead on sight. Maybe you could steal the plans for me. You should be able to find them on one of their operators.
By the helmet, but the rest of her body wasn't so lucky. As the disorientation from the spill passed, Lee found herself unable to walk or use her bike in any capacity to get out of the woods. She would initially yell out for help, but she was far from any main road or inhabited area, and no one heard the woman's cries. Trying to remain calm, Lee remembered that she brought her BlackBerry phone with her on this bike ride. The BlackBerry phone had been thrown during the crash, but Lee managed to crawl across the ground and found where it had landed. So now she had a lifeline. How was she going to use it? In dire need of assistance, Lee attempted to call her cousin who was in town at the time, but the cell service was limited and she wasn't able to get through with the call. After toying with the phone for some time, she discovered that her SMS services were disabled, yet she had a faint internet signal. The gears in her head started moving. Unable to make a call or send a text, Lee logs into her Twitter account. Due to her work in public relations, the woman had somewhat of a sizable Twitter following. Her account, which was connected to her business, boasted 1,000 followers. Seeing these followers as her only chance at getting rescued, she drafts up a plea for help. I've had a serious injury and need help. Can someone please call Winding Trails
my
in Farmington,
homeland and
Connecticut?
friends.
Tell them I'm stuck.
She must be
Bike
doing
crash
well
in
with the
woods.
Sentinels
This
to be
was soon
sequestering
followed by several
adventurers for other tasks. I'm proud of her. It is a pleasure to meet you, adventurer. The situation here in Stone Talon is obviously grave for a night elf and gnome to be working together. The venture company has devastated these lands, and I've spent most of my time putting an end to the destruction. Do not judge Gaxim prematurely. He understands the need for us to work together. If you wish to aid us, then start by speaking to Gaxim. I'm sorry I cannot send you back to Tara with good news yet. Perhaps soon.
Treacherous! Treacherous and dangerous! That's what this land is! But I'm here to show the Night Elves that it's a little safer with the help of good old engineering and a dash of magic. See, swearing off magic completely won't help the Night Elves. They need it! The world needs it! And with engineering and alchemy to boot, you can't go wrong. The possibilities are endless. You see, adventurer, I'm a member of the Enlightened Assembly of Arcanology, Alchemy, and Engineering Sciences, and it's my goal, nay, my duty, to show the Night Elves that a blend of magic mixtures and mechanisms can help save their forests. But it's a hard-fought war, and the goblins reproduce like rabbits, it seems. I haven't even had time to build my newest inventions. I need some time to plan and organize, but to do that, I need your help keeping the goblins at bay in Windshire Crag to the east.
Okay.
Can I help you? You have a great day now. Off and away.
I wish you sold things. That's okay, we'll go to the vendor. It's a long flight, but or long walk, I mean, but it's another flight path that this character has. Just another reason not to die. Every flight path, every level, every bit of information and gold that I get, every bit of money that I save, all that stuff. It's all more reason not to fuck up and take it more seriously and not die.
Other tweets further explaining her situation. One user saw the post and initially thought she was joking. Lee would quickly inform them that her situation was no laughing matter. This is not a joke. I'm lost in the woods on a mini triathlon. Bike crashed. I can't get up, and no one is around me. I'm yelling for help. I'm not joking. I'm number 241. Please call the park. I'm out of wind, in pain, sun setting, and I'm trying to keep calm. When it became clear to these followers that Lee wasn't joking, they started retweeting the post and made calls to the local Farmington authorities. It said that about a half dozen online Twitter strangers
About to die right there. About to be right there. See it? I was about to die right there. I was like 5 steps from death. Straight up death. Have to be so careful. This is why I play zoomed in. Like, you know, watch what I'm doing. Don't run off cliffs. Don't walk into guards. Don't go through Terran Mill. Horde towns. Yeah, don't go near horde towns.
From California to New York to Chicago. These individuals pleading with authorities to get the woman some help. Now aware that one of the triathlon
Oh, I
athletes...
guess I dinged, huh? Like, the exploration is actually significant. So, combat, oh, no, I spent the point. Yeah, I spent the point when I dinged, yeah. Nice. And we're finally done with, dodge. Yeah. 5%. Sweet.
Missing, the Farmington Fire Department set out to the resort to scan for the woman. The situation was beginning to look more hopeful. As the fire department began searching the hiking trails, Lee would make another tweet. Thanks, I hear sirens now. Hope they can find me. And after about 20 minutes of searching, rescue crews managed to discover the crash site and they found Lee. Lee was loaded up onto a stretcher and then taken to the University of Connecticut Medical Center to be treated for her injuries. Lee was discovered not to have had any broken bones, only muscle injuries and some minor bruising. She was given IV fluids and some anti-inflammatory medication, and her topical scrapes were treated. Thankfully, they were able to get to her before it got dark. The following
Nice.
day, Lee would write about the ordeal on her personal blog, crediting all the Twitter users that had called rescue services on her behalf. This story soon caught the attention of national media outlets who would go on to report on the matter.
While visiting family here in Connecticut, Lee Fazina took part in a mini triathlon here at Winding Trails in Farmington Tuesday night, when she says she somehow took a wrong turn on the bike path.
Unfortunately, Lee wasn't able to finish the triathlon, but at least she left the resort with her life.
Yeah,
After
and
about a
no
week,
injuries,
Lee was
too.
healthy enough to
Very,
be
very
sent back
lucky.
home to Philadelphia. Since this incident, she has made statements encouraging people to be prepared and safe when mountain biking, emphasizing the importance of always having a phone on hand.
Yep.
This next story involves a man suffering from a mysterious illness, an illness that doctors were completely puzzled by. But one Redditor seemingly had the answer
One Redditor.
to his ailment. In the mid-2000s, Bear Silber lived a life that many would envy, a life defined by athleticism and adventure. He was a passionate runner, an adept snowboarder, and a fearless hiker. But in 2007,
Fearless
Bear
hiker.
began suffering from a mysterious illness that changed his life for the worse. It began with frequent bouts of high blood pressure, followed by weight gain. Bear's athleticism, which was once his proudest, sort of character.
I'm going to say it's either... No, I don't know enough yet.
Attribute really started going out of the window. For some unexplained reason, he was suffering from high blood pressure, started gaining a bunch of weight, and just had random pains throughout his day. As Bear's physical condition continued to
Lyme
worsen,
disease.
he found himself isolating himself from friends and family. He was so miserable at times that he had to miss out on major family milestones, such as weddings, funerals, and birthdays. Initially feeling as if his situation may have just been some wave of depression that was causing these symptoms, Bear eventually decided that something was probably seriously wrong with him. Seeking help, Bear would turn to his primary care doctor. This visit would yield no major diagnosis and resulted in him being prescribed blood pressure medication as a temporary resolution to his problems. But this blood pressure medication was more or less a band-aid. He continued to feel fatigued all the time, and his weight gain continued. And this would be the case for several years. Over the years, Bear would undergo a battery of tests and medical exams, none ever really yielding any sort of pinpoint diagnosis. And as time passed, his list of symptoms grew even more. He would go on to suffer agonizing headaches, muscle weakness, a seemingly unquenchable thirst, a dry throat, skin infections, and would even suffer some bone weakening, with the man fracturing a rib at one point for seemingly no reason, not even making much of an exertion, and he broke a bone. Considering this guy had an athletic past, it just didn't make any sense. What the fuck was happening to this guy? Bear had become so confounded by his seemingly unexplainable medical condition that he began to lose hope. He felt that he would never find a solution to what was causing his illness and became depressed about the future. But then everything changed one night while browsing Reddit. On a seemingly ordinary weekend night, amidst his routine internet explorations on Reddit, Bear's cursor landed on an image that would change the course of his life forever. It was a photograph of a bizarre-looking overweight man. The image accompanied with the caption, "How is this shape possible?" Intrigued by this post, Bear delved into the comments to see what people were saying. And there, amidst these threads of conversation, he stumbled...
I think about this all the time. I look through forums and I read what people say, and I look on YouTube comments and I listen in the background, because I suspect that the answer to all of my problems is being talked about in other rooms that I'm not in currently.
On a revelation.
And so I look for my answers on forums. I'm like, so I have a problem with display adapters and Unity. What can and Streamlabs seems to be the indicator. Where will that lead? And eventually it was windowed. Eventually, making the connection. The answer was there on a forum somewhere. I think I even saved it. I was like, oh, okay.
comment in this thread suggested that the man in the image might have been affected by Cushing's syndrome.
Cushing's.
Medical condition.
Yeah, it's Cushing's syndrome. Yeah, Cushing is extremely rare. There's no way I ever would have pegged that.
Caused by the overproduction of cortisol.
Now, you know, it's weird because I wanted to say hypothyroidism. I really did want to say that.
Cortisol in humans is known as the stress hormone, and an excess of cortisol results in a variety of negative side effects, such as weight gain, high blood pressure, being fatigued, being thirsty all the time, and having weakening in your bones. Sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? As Bear read these comments and sort of compared and contrasted what was going on in this thread to his own life, he became convinced that he may have had Cushing's syndrome. So for the rest of the...
Yeah, like they recently diagnosed me with celiac disease, and I didn't know what it was, but when I knew. And I was like, wow, that one is dead on. And they were like, yep, you're pretty allergic to gluten, and you've been breaking out in hives your entire adult life. And I was like, oh, I just thought they were pimples, but they won't ever pop. And they were like, no, pimples pop. Hives don't. And I was like, okay. And then I realized in the minute that we cut the gluten out of the diet, like my skin cleared up, started losing weight, started feeling better, and I was like, fuck, they were absolutely right about this. But if I'm allergic to gluten, I think it's because of all the white bread I ate in my whole life. I think it was poison.
The night and the days following,
I used to basically just eat mayonnaise sandwiches, which is basically just gluten overdose. You're like, basically your only source of food is gluten, and I was allergic to it.
Became consumed by research. He meticulously compared his own experiences to the symptoms described by those who suffer from the disease. And after extensive research, he was sure that he had Cushing's. And armed with this newfound knowledge and convinced that he had Cushing's,
okay, well, we got what we came for here.
Tell them what he thought. However, this appointment didn't end the way that he had expected.
I could go do the Pry Wings quest. It's a current quest, and I'm out here. I might as well.
Met with laughter and dismissal by the physician. The doctor reportedly saying, quote, "This is why I hate the internet and self-diagnosing." But Bear wasn't taking no for an answer. He would then go to other doctors to see if they would entertain his theory about Cushing's disease. One doctor that Bear...
No, once in a while you hear the symptoms, and you're like, oh... Because, like, since I was, like, I don't know, since I was, like, 24, I was like, we should save up money in the budget so that I can get the pimple problem dealt with. Because I've had pimples all over my body, even on my feet. Even on my feet, you know? Not because they were dirty either, but because, like, because they're hives. I can get hives all over my body if I eat gluten. And I until they nailed it, I had no concept. I never would have known what to look for. I never would have guessed what it was. They knew what to look for. They were looking for it, and they found it. And then when they told me the stuff, and they were like, "You've probably been dealing with this your whole life," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's right. I lived off of mayonnaise sandwiches and stuff when I was poor." For years, I would just eat bread, basically just bread with mayonnaise, bread with like crappy American cheese, and I would just eat like 2 crappy sandwiches a day. And my diet's a lot still like that, kind of. Just with much better ingredients, with much better bread, and much better, like, more taken care of, like no gluten. My diet's still like that. Like, I essentially live off of bread. It's really bad. It's disgusting in a way. But when I heard it, I was like, wow. And so I was like, well, I'm open-minded to this. And they were like, no, we tested you. You have celiacs. And I was like, oh, okay. And they were like, you are never going to do gluten again. You're going to stay away from it voluntarily. You're going to not ever do gluten again. It'll kill you. Most people, they can act like they have a gluten allergy and they can talk about it. They won't die if they eat gluten. You will. And I was like, okay. And the doctor was like, you have a not a severe but a serious allergy, like a very serious allergy to gluten. And so you're gonna change your diet and do all these things. And that was a trip. And when they told me the symptoms, they told me the problems, they told me how it manifests, what to look for, how it felt. I was like, that's it. That's what it was this whole time. It was celiacs. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, man, I used to eat when I was like poor and in college. I used to eat like crappy mayonnaise sandwiches with just white bread that I would buy from like the Safeway or the Albertsons. And like the quality of the food was really low, and it was just basically that crappy bleached like grocery store bought white bread, this basically biscuit dough. And they were like, yeah, and you lived off this? And I was like, yeah, I basically lived off of like crappy sandwiches like for 15 years, like crappy sandwiches and ramen. And they were like, yeah, that's why you're fat. They were like, that's why you're fat, that's why you're sick, that's why you're nearly dead and all this. They're like, you're like, you are affected by celiacs. Cut the gluten out of your diet and you'll be fine. You've been poisoning yourself for something like 20 years, if not all your life. And I was like, oh wow. I've been eating Ritz crackers and gluten since I was a kid. Enchiladas and tortillas and sandwiches, fucking breaded stuff like, like chicken fingers, shit like that. Been doing that shit forever. Gluten, just straight gluten. Turns out the food that I most love, it's so weird. So the food that I most love is actually really like poisonous to me, which is crappy white bread sandwiches and what's it called? Blue cheese. And turns out blue cheese is a pure form of what I'm most allergic to, which is penicillin. Blue cheese is just like blue cheese, or gorgonzola is another word you'll hear for it, is my favorite cheese, and I like it on everything. It's something about it, stinky cheese. I really like it. It tastes good. But it turns out that I'm allergic to it. I'm allergic to my favorite food, which is gorgonzola. And I can't stop that. I can't quit that stuff. And I think it's because my body knows that it's poisonous and wants it. And it's fucking crazy. Ouch, this thing hurt. Can he kill me? No, you're not gonna kill me, are you? I feel like the poison will, but no, not if I sit down. That was a little risky. That guy was a little shaky. I wonder maybe if this chess piece is a little too weak now. I am 8 levels higher. These pants are definitely... Well, no, the pants are not that bad, but it's the chess piece is too weak now. That's not good, because getting an agility chess piece will not be cheap. But in any event. So yeah, so I was like, oh god, so my favorite food is what I'm most allergic to, which is penicillin, which is like the food form of it is gorgonzola or blue cheese crumbles. I'll eat them on anything. It's my favorite food in the whole world, blue cheese crumbles, and it's because I'm allergic to it. I have a weird psychological thing about things that I'm allergic to. And my favorite thing in the world is like crappy white bread sandwiches with deli meat and cheese and stuff. And that stuff is straight up poison. That basically almost killed me. It's celiacs. Gave me celiacs and fucked me up. Now these things hurt, and he's no joke. And I really can't link or my run's over, because this guy will just cast on me. Wait, the consort won't, but the Sky Hunter, I don't know. Yeah, he didn't have a mana bar, so let's pull him. No, I want to open him, but I don't know. Will they link? If they link, I'm fucked. Come on, man. Open. Damn it. He wouldn't open on him. It's so annoying. Oh, I got this. It's risky. I feel like if the poison was nastier, it would be scary. Like, these things hurt. I don't know if I should be here right now. My chest piece might be too weak, and these things, I'll need to kill so many of them. And I feel inherently weak to them. There's a mage. He's 25. You know, I think I'm going to call it a night here. I'm feeling like I could die. I'm feeling like I could easily make a mistake and that I'm physically and mentally exhausted, and I'm going to call it. And it has been 23 hours and 40 minutes, 37 minutes. And it has been a very good run. Gotten a lot of levels today. I think I started out 18 today. I'm 23. So 5 levels. Thank you for coming in, man who stands, and thank you number 2 for all the wonderful, for sticking with me here while I retool and figure out my new passion with playing 3 games at once and watching videos and all this. And thank you. Sleep well, you guys. You have a wonderful night, huh? So now before I go, I'm gonna close out the video here. I'm gonna come back to tab, and yeah, I'm in Stormwind. I'm safe. I've got XP ticking, and I've got all this crap. Actually, before I go, I've got to post auctions. Or no, actually, I don't. Oh well, I do. I've got 3 items here that I should post, but that's it. Yeah, the rest of it I'll deal with tomorrow. There, I wish to sell that. Yep. And that. Yep. And that. 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 And that. And then, yeah, I believe that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Oh, and then that thing. Yeah, sell that thing. Nice. 21 silver intellect cloak that I bet does sell, which is cool. Got to make poisons in the morning. I got to remember. So I'm going to bust a sprint now getting towards that direction, but I'll log when the sprint ends. Try to save the time and the effort. Okay, I'm going to log here and try to remember that I need poisons in the morning. And so on that note, I'm going to close down the video, and I will do so by coming to my website, which is skycat.live. Come to skycat.live and come financially support me. I'm here every day for you, and I will be here every day for you. Oh, sweet baby, I will lay you down by the fire for the rest of all eternity. And it is Full-Time Variety Gamer. I'm a full-time variety gamer all day, every day. Put me on in the background. Peace, sleep well, Thank you, guys. How's yeah? Donate. Come click on the cat's face to donate. Come click on the Twitch and the YouTube and the Facebook and the TikTok or whatever the fuck, or you can come to Twitch and give me a sub. This video will be 23 hours and 40 minutes long. It will be 12 2-hour videos posted on my channel over the next 12 hours, 14 hours. So tomorrow, sometime around, I don't know, tomorrow being, somewhere around, 10 or 11 in the morning, I think, maybe. I don't know. I will be on after these videos upload. I'm going to do that before I go to bed here. And I love you guys. You have a wonderful evening. And you can catch this video on YouTube. Come to my website. Click on the cat's face to donate. Thank you for watching me play WoW for fucking 24 hours. Can't believe I did that. Haven't done that in 10 years. So that's pretty fun. So, and I love you guys. You have a wonderful evening or day, whatever the case may be. And I will bail out here. Peace.